Hold on. And we're live on YouTube.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. As we're about to begin in a few minutes, feel free to chat in, say your greetings. No, good afternoon to everybody. Um, you can chat in where you're coming from, how are you this afternoon, no? If may merienda po kayo, share with us ano yung kinakain yung snack right now para magtakam-takam din tayo. Baka appropriately with our topic today, no? Baka nagchatsaan na rin kayo for our afternoon. Hello to everybody. Good afternoon to you, Erica, Chanel, Felice from Clark, Pampanga. Wonderful to have you here. We also have Jenny from La Consolacion University, Bulacan. Wow, ang dami po natin nasa Bulacan. Meron po tayo si JV from Bataan. Sabi niya from MPGC and SCPC. Good afternoon to everybody. We have around 150 participants in the room right now. So let's settle in for a few minutes. It's actually 3 in the afternoon. We'll give one more minute just so everybody can settle in. We'll have a wonderful discussion this afternoon, but no rush for us all. No, we have Jenalyn coming from Cebu. Good afternoon. We have Eileen from Cainta Rizal. Good afternoon to you. Sabi ni DJ, good afternoon to our PW team. We have everybody here on support then. No, nag-good afternoon sa inyo si DJ. He's from BGC. All right. We'll be starting in a few seconds. No. Good afternoon sa iyo, Janice from Sorsogon City, Bicol. Yes. Magandang hapon din sa iyo, Cristel. Tuning in from Butuan City. Wonderful, wonderful. Gusto ko to, try natin to. Maupay na kulop sa iyong ngatan. Tama ba yan, Paulette? Good afternoon to everyone from Calbayog City, Samar. All right, so it's now 3:01 in the afternoon. We can officially begin. So welcome to our webinar. What's the Tea with Positivity? The benefits of positive emotions on mental health. So if it's your first time joining us, welcome to our Positive Workplaces community. No, we do these monthly webinars regularly. We've been doing them for quite a while now. And these webinars are part of our mission to co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce. So we believe that our positive cultures can be built through positivity ripples, and it starts, of course, with leading yourself, and that's why we have these wonderful webinars for you, so that by leading yourself, you gain them through the insights, the awareness that we build through these webinars, and you can then influence others around you, and collectively with your people, with your group, you can move your cultures forward so that you can actually build positive workplaces. All right. So I'm Gio Kapinpin. No, I'm a training and coaching consultant for positive workplaces, and I will be your speaker for this afternoon. No, my background is mainly in psychology. I did dabble in some years with HR operations and trying out as an entrepreneur in the food and beverage industry. But as much as I enjoyed my time in those fields, there was so much for positive psychology that I kept coming back to, and I really, really loved all that I was learning there. So now I'm about to finish my accreditation and my certification in applied positive psychology in the Flourishing Center. And the work that I mainly focus on is in helping people be at their best, so that the people that I interact with, they can also work at their best with the work and the people that are very important to them. So hopefully this webinar is one of those ways that I can help you out in that aspect. So quick reminders lang, no, house rules for this afternoon. Please have another device or just be ready to go to another link. No, our afternoon session is very interactive. My webinars are always designed this way so that people can really get the most out of their attendance. And so if you have a phone, a tablet, or you just have another window ready to go for another link, that'll be awesome. Most participants, most of you will be on mute initially, no? But there are so many ways that we can interact with each other through our session this afternoon. If a question comes up for you, you can ask them through Pigeonhole. We'll be sending the link much later, but feel free to also post in your questions in the chat. Of course, with questions, you can also interact, share your insights. If there's any burning comment that you feel like would be really great to share for everybody this afternoon, feel free to do so. Now, we will also have an appropriate space later for raising your hand, and maybe it will be a great time to hear from everybody on what they want to share from our activities later. And of course, right after our webinar, we'll also have an evaluation form to be sent to everybody. So that'll allow you to claim your certificate for attending this afternoon session. But more importantly, we actually have worksheets based from our activities tonight, for this afternoon. And you will be able to download yung worksheets that you get to work on then. So after yung free time yun na after the session. No, so that'll be very, very helpful for your well-being. And we've really collated all of this for all of you to benefit from. All right. So our session today, no, is the culminating episode na for our series for this month of October, and of course we're celebrating mental health month. No, so for this month we are championing well-being and mental health in the workplace. And we've had Alan talk about empowering your best self from our very first episode. And then we've also had Nikki to fill in for Gabby, talking about balancing work demands and resources. If na-miss nyo yung webinars nila, no, don't worry, they're all on YouTube. If some of you are watching there as well right now, you can see all of the previous webinars uploaded there. So let's get this show on the road, no? For those of you just joining in, we are already at 230 people in the room. So a wonderful afternoon again to everybody. And for this afternoon, we get to talk about what's the tea with positivity. And we'll learn soon enough about all the what's so beneficial about positive emotions and how they can really help for our mental health. Okay? So we'll be guided with this learning roadmap for this afternoon. First, we'll be talking about, why are positive emotions so important for our well-being? And as we answer that question, another question comes up for us that can be very appropriate at that point to answer. It's what is our experience of emotions and what really makes it positive? And then finally, now we get to the practical stuff. How can we notice and practice these positive emotions? Paano ba natin sisimulan na ma-build yung practice natin in noticing? How can we have more positive emotions in our life? So first, let's answer, why are positive emotions important for well-being? And we'll do this through our Menti. So you can go now to menti.com and type in the code 14305978. Mikay has also sent in the link for you to follow. Again, you can answer through your phone, your tablet, another device, or even through chat. If you feel like answering through chat, feel free to do so. What I'd love for you to answer is, what is one word to describe how you usually feel when you're at work or when you're working? Okay, so quite recently, I feel activated when I'm working, but unfortunately, I still also feel very impatient. Parang gusto ko sana matapos na yung linggo. Kasi syempre, hindi naman sa ayoko yung trabaho, pero nakakapagod din, di ba? We want to be able to rest. And we see that a lot of people are already chiming in. It's wonderful to hear people really give what they're feeling at like when they're working. No, there's a very central theme right now: tired. A lot of people are saying stressed, unmotivated, challenged. I see here, anxious, overwhelmed. No, so it might be that a lot of you are really feeling these emotions that people are saying how they feel when they're working. No, kitang-kita nyo kahit gumalaw ng gumalaw yung dami ng words associated with how people are feeling at work, nagiging central pa rin yung unmotivated, challenged, no? I do want to celebrate someone who was able to say though that they feel excited, meron tired but happy, no? So, meron pa din siyang balance from time to time. No? So, stick on here sa mentee natin. We'll go on to another question. So this time, no, so we were talking about just how you're actually feeling with work right now. This time I want to ask you on another question. How is it that you want to feel instead for how is it instead that you want to feel when you're at work on your or when you're working? So kanina sinabi ko, 'di ba? Impatient, I feel activated, no? But rather I want to feel fulfilled, like this person who said na yun nga, they want to feel fulfilled, motivated, challenged, in the zone. They want to feel free, 'di ba? Para ang sarap ng feeling na kapag nagtatrabaho tayo, yung nagla-light up tayo, 'di ba? Yung passionate, lumalabas yung drive, we feel alive. Right. And JV, you have a wonderful question of recognizing toxic positivity, but let's reserve that for yung pigeonhole questions natin later. That's the perfect time to answer that. So, again, no, going back, we have wonderful insights here of how people actually want to feel when they're working. So, you actually, all of you right now that are chiming in, you seem to have a very good intuition about the emotions that you want to get at when you're working or when you're at work, no? And it might be na meron kayong experience before na ito yung naramdaman nyo, ang ganda ng feeling while working. But also it might be that you just notice someone to have these emotions while they're at work and it really lit them up. So whatever it is that you're coming from, there is true wisdom with wanting positive emotions when you're working or at work. And that's actually very much aligned to what our research has found. No? So there are tons of research with positive emotions, but one particular positive emotion research that we want to talk about this afternoon is that they found with companies that really integrated positive emotions in their culture, no? As in, they really built the culture of allowing employees to feel happy, na naramdaman nila na they're loved, they're accepted, na they can enjoy themselves at work, they can laugh, they can be free, and that they even have spaces for rest and relaxation at work. Two major areas were able to benefit from this intervention. First off, is that yung client and work interactions gumanda. So yung social interactions ng mga tao at work, okay na okay. Client and customer relations, of course, na-affect yan. But also, dynamics between co-workers really benefited from all these positive emotions that was built in. Siyempre, hindi naman natin mapagkakaila, di ba? Kapag masaya tayo, ang saya din makipagkwentuhan. No? It feels like it's so much easier to be approachable, to be open, to make jokes. It really makes good for light-hearted conversations. Siyempre, kung meron din naman kayong nakakausap na medyo bad trip, nakakunot yung ulo, parang walang pasensya, di ba, ang pangit din ng pakiramdam. So it's no surprise for us na social interactions get boosted with positive emotions built in place in the workplace. Another benefit is that the creativity and innovation of employees also get boosted. So ang nangyayari is that yung ideas ng mga tao for services, products, programs, or interventions that they want to do at work or for their clients no, sobrang tumataas yung variety ng ideas. Kasi nga, people are coming from a good place. And of course, that's very good for companies. Kasi, di ba, people can actually find strategies around roadblocks, no? And that whenever people can be very strategic and think outside of the box, there are so many more possibilities that can really bring a company forward. Another study naman, no, they check in and see that when yung happy emotions na meron sa work or positive emotions are built at work, no, it actually predicts really good things. No, first off is that it greatly predicts na yung job satisfaction ng mga employees tumataas. No, so siguro hindi na rin nakakagulat sa marami din nating iba't ibang relationships sa life. Kung satisfied tayo sa relationships natin, di ba? We actually feel very much more committed. Ang dali magsabi na, oh, I'm here for the long run because I feel great. I'm so satisfied with my work. That's no surprise at all. And because people are saying that they feel very much committed to their work when they're happy, it's no surprise then that bumababa din yung desire nila to leave the workplace, no? Maglipat ng company. And you even pair that with something wonderful. Bumababa yung experiences ng burnout for people at work. That's wonderful, di ba? It's such a great place to know na if you had positive emotions at work or if you're feeling very much happy, your experiences of burnout would be lessened. And now the question might be, so how is that actually possible? And the wonderful thing and the powerful thing about positive emotions is that research has continually found that when positive emotions are actually working, no, when they're at work and people are able to practice them regularly, the wonderful thing about it is that positive emotions can help facilitate faster recovery from stressful events. Mas madali tayong mag-bounce back from it. No? So you might be thinking about the situation na siguro ang haba na nung araw nyo, ang hectic, nakakapagod. Tapos siguro gutom na rin kayo, di ba? And alam niyo yung feeling na gutom na kayo, pagod na kayo, stress na stress pa kayo, di ba? Ang sakit sa ulo, parang nahihilo na kayo, wala na talaga kayo sa mood, bad trip na kayo. And then you get that quick break or just that few moments that you can actually enjoy food, gather around with everybody that you were stressed out with. You can enjoy a meal quietly, peacefully, and share a conversation. It almost feels like parang, nakapagpalubag ng loob, parang naitawid natin. And yung sakit ng ulo pagkatapos nyo kumain or yung hilo nyo, parang medyo nawawala na ng onti-onti. Siyempre, nakapagkwentuhan na tayo, naging mas magaan na yung feeling natin, no? It actually brings us back to this place na, hey, I'm feeling okay. And it feels na parang sa gabi nyo, meron pang pwedeng ibang ma-handle because of, like, there are so many things that we can actually do because positive emotions help us recover effectively from stressful events. No, it's wonderful, di ba? Parang to know that if we really work on our positive emotions, we can create this much recovery for us. We're actually able to bounce back better. And that's why it's so important for our mental health that we regularly build this the positive emotions in our lives. Okay? So now it's an appropriate time to ask, what is our experience of emotions nga? Paano ba talaga siya nagiging positive? And so, at this moment, we'll try a quick experiment. This should be very interesting for us. Now, so this is the perfect time for you to get your pen and paper. Basta we'll do a writing exercise in a little bit. No, so prepare pen and paper or your phone, or sa laptop nyo or sa computer. Pull up your notepad. Just be ready to type in or write in responses. No, so we'll get to that in a bit. So with this experiment, of course, we cannot simulate the controlled environment, etc., para maging legitimate experiment siya. We'll just try this out for a fun activity this afternoon. We can play around with this idea. And so this is our instructions for this afternoon. No? We are right now at 297. So hopefully we have around 150 on each. No, but what we want to do is to pick randomly. Okay, pick randomly. So we'll have two options and you'll just choose between one or the other. Okay? And you get to choose between these two colors. You choose between red or you choose blue. Okay? So think about it for a moment, but lock in your choice once you have it. Okay? Let's not cheat here. Choose between red or blue, lock in your choice, and then for those of you who chose a specific color will have specific instructions that you will only look at for your color. Okay? So, first off, dun tayo sa mga pumili nung red. All right? For the red. So, for those of you who chose red, I want you to recall a memory that makes you smile. Okay? So, think of that moment na that really made you happy, napangiti talaga kayo. Remember who are the people that you were with. When was that moment? Pwedeng recent, pwedeng medyo a while back. But as long as it really brings you this sense of joy about that memory, think about that for a moment. No? For those of you who chose blue, what I want you to do instead is to recall a time when someone was upset with you. Okay? So let's not switch around our prompts anymore. For those of you who chose blue, okay? Recall a time when someone was upset with you. Paano nangyari na naging upset sila sa inyo? Bakit sila naging upset? Diba? How did you find out that they were upset, and how did it really make you feel when you found out that they were upset? Okay? So we have our two groups right now, people who chose red, people who chose blue. Again, stay with the memory that you were prompted for. For red, think of a memory that makes you smile. Enjoy that moment of really remembering that memory. And then for those of you dun sa blue, recall a time when someone was upset with you. Think about the situation, really. No, what happened and how did it come about? No, what did you do with the situation? So we'll spend a few seconds sticking with this memory. No, I'll give you a few moments to really think about your experience. Right? So finally, we'll do now a quick challenge. All right. And so for our quick challenge, all we'll do is for our next slide to write down as many uses of a paperclip that you think you can in 1 minute. So please don't write down any responses just yet. We'll all start together. Okay? Pero you might be thinking, ma'am, paano yun? So first off, obviously, yung paperclip, pwede nating ipagsama-sama yung paper. That's one use already. Kung medyo napag-isipan nyo na rin, I honestly have done that before. Think about stretching a paperclip, sanitize one end. Naisipan ko na rin siyang gamitin pang toothpick now. So those are some examples of uses that we can do. So again, 1 minute, you have 1 minute to write down all your answers. No, so everybody gets to do this exercise in your paper or your phone or computer. No, so we begin with in 3, 2, 1, start writing. So sige po, sulat. We have 15 seconds passed. No? Daming iba't ibang pwedeng uses. Think about them carefully. Be as creative as you want. No? Hindi kailangang standard yung ating approach. 30 seconds remaining. Write as much as you can. This is a challenge after all. We have 20 seconds remaining for everybody. Last few seconds to come up with your interesting ways to use a paper clip. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, time's up. Please stop writing. Turn over your papers. Put away your phone or that window sa laptop nyo. No? Stop writing. Let's all be fair here. Okay? So now, we'll turn back to Menti. Okay? So we're going to ask you now, how many uses of a paperclip were you able to think of? Now, before you start typing in, okay, take turns tayo. All right? So, unang sasagot are those who answered for yung red memory nila. No, so yung pumili ng red. So if you chose red, this is the time that you get to put in your number of creative uses for a paperclip. As many as you were able to think of. Okay? All right. So lumalabas po nasa 6.9. All right, 7. Dumadami na po 6.7. So we're waiting for people to chime in, and as we average the amount of creative uses that people were able to come up with. Again, reminder for everybody, this is for those who answered and recall the memory for yung red. No, yung pumili ng red. Happy memory po tayo. Right now, we're averaging at around 6.4, 6.3. How many uses of a paperclip did you come up with for those who thought about their happy memory? All right? So, safe to say siguro we are at around 6.2, 6.3. We'll come back to this for the next, after we switch over to our next group. No? So for those of you na sumagot na pumili ng blue, na you had to remember a very tough memory of someone being upset with you, this is your time now to respond. How many examples were you able to think about? No? How many uses of a paperclip did you come up with? All right. So again, be honest po. No? Right now we are 20, 24, 25, averaging at around 4.4, 4.5 uses. No? Okay. So very interesting. Okay. We're averaging at around 4.3, 4.4. All right. Okay. So it seems like we have a good number to check in with everybody. No? I'll just quickly compare. We have 5.8. Bumaba na siya ng onte. No? 5.8 from a while ago. But in comparison to a 4.4. So, interesting. Diba? Isang group, pinili natin, happy memory tayo. Isang group, medyo tough memory. But what happened was, there was sort of a difference, a very interesting difference, that there's around a difference of 1. No, it might not be too big, and we're just again experimenting pseudo. Na it's just interesting to see na it's very much aligned to what most researchers also find when it comes to this type of experiment. No, na when people are actually thinking about a memory between a happy or a sad one, it really creates this difference between one specific benefit of positive emotions. So we'll get to that in a bit. And that is that positive emotions can actually broaden us. No? So in our experience of positive emotions, one thing that happens for us is that our thoughts and our actions get broadened. Okay? So what does that mean? Yung attention natin, nababaling, no, na kaysa sa yung effect niya is yung narrowing, yung nakafocus lang tayo for survival. Because that's usually what happens with us with fear, di ba? Na parang napupunta tayo sa fight or flight response lang. Case in point natin, COVID. No? So, lagi tayong nagbabantay sa balita sa COVID. We're always washing our hands. We're always paying attention to the people, kung malapit sila, di ba? Pag nasa labas tayo. So, there are so many things that bring our attention to watching out for risks of COVID. Now we're driven to be in a survival mode. And the opposite happens when we experience positive emotions. Yung attention natin mas malawak, hindi lang tayo pang survival, no? And so you see more perspectives around a situation. Naiiba yung pattern of thinking natin. And that's kind of what happened for our pseudo experiment a while ago, no? And why there was a research that specifically found creativity and innovation to increase. Kasi nga naiiba yung pattern ng thinking ng mga tao when it comes to experiencing positive emotions. No, one example here then is that we realize the bigger picture of a situation. What does that mean? No, so possible na may naka-interact kayo na hindi maganda yung sinabi. Rather than actually concentrating and focusing on bakit niya sinabi yun, bakit nasama niya sa akin, and really focusing on all of these negative things, you might actually switch your thinking and think about, baka na bad trip lang siya, or maybe he's going through something. And that actually allows us to switch over our thinking from a more narrow mindset to a broader perspective. right? So, ganun yung example nung na-broaden yung thought natin because of positive emotions. Now, on the other hand, no, when we talk about actions, it operates the same way na, 'di ba? Yung kung yung thoughts natin, they try to vary our thinking. Our actions also try to vary. Meaning, we look for more life-sustaining choices. Hindi lang tayo day in, day out, mundane, meron tayong routine, no? What usually happens is that because we come from such a good place, we want so many things out of life. We want to get at being healthy. So, baka meron kayong experience before na sa sobrang ganda ng feeling nyo, you were coming off from this great emotional high that you wanted so many things out of life. You wanted to exercise more. You wanted to be healthy. You were really productive with work. You were challenging yourself. And you were even spending your free time developing hobbies, building your skills. No? So that's what usually happens when positive emotions provide this broadening for our actions as well. Now, on the other hand, no, there's another effect here of positive emotions that can be more related to the lessening of stress effect. No, and you can already see how this might be helpful in broadening aspect ng positive emotions. But on the other end is that positive emotions can also build us. No, it helps us build our overall resources, health, mental or physical, so that when we acquire positive emotions, nadadagdagan yung well-being currency natin, napupuno yung bank or reserve natin, na-charge up tayo. No, so how that usually happens is that the more experiences of positive emotions that we have, no, mas napupuno tayo, no, mas nadadagdagan yung currency natin for our well-being. Our resources are much more fuller. So you might be now thinking about a moment na yung weekend nyo, you had a very relaxing weekend. You got to spend time with family, baka nakapag out of town kayo, you were able to enjoy really good food, you were able to unwind, relax, and connect with so many friends and family again. No? So that experience, acquiring so many positive emotions just from a simple weekend, that might actually drive you na pagdating naman ng pasok sa Monday, parang ang daming kakayanin, ang daming pwedeng mangyari, nothing can ruin your mood. There's so many things that you can get out of the day. And even if maraming challenges or obstacles na pumasok for the week, carry lang, di ba? Ang dali ismolin kasi we come from a place of fullness. And that's what happens with positive emotions. Now, the problem happens when we look at the opposite. No? Na pag stressful moments naman pinag-iisipan natin, no? What happens is that more stressful moments occurring one after the other, nade-deplete na yung well-being currency natin. Nauubos tayo. 'Di ba? We feel so drained from a very hectic day. So imagine niyo naman yung week baliktad. Yung week nyo sobrang stressful. Yung tinatawag nating hell week, no? The students before, 'di ba? Or maybe even have hell weeks at work that there's so many projects lined up and then there's so many requirements that you have to submit and fill out. It's just a very stressful week. And day after day, nauubos yung sarili natin. Possible na pagdating ng Friday, ubos na tayo. Tapos may magpapahabol pa ng project. Di ba nakaka-bad trip? Di ba parang ang sarap mag-breakdown, ang sarap magalit. It's just, wala na eh. Parang wala ka namang bibigay, tapos may humihingi pa sa'yo. Di ba? So it's so difficult. It can be very, very debilitating to have these so many stressful moments. And that is why with positive emotions, we always have to keep building on them so that we're always adding to our well-being currency. That is why it's so important for us to keep working on our positive emotions so that almost regularly, we're better at handling these difficult situations. Mas madali nating labanan yung difficulties, no? May stress, walang problema because we actually come from a place of fullness. So now, it's a perfect opportunity for us to look into paano nga ba natin sisimulan yung pag-build ng positive emotions. No? How can we start noticing and practicing these positive emotions? All right? So let's take a few moments to pause here. and prepare ourselves for the next following activities. Okay. So this is the time where you can really invest in, like taking the time off for this moment to just really connect with each other, and we'll really spend a good amount of time building on and noticing and practicing positive emotions. Okay. So first off, we'd like to ask this question: how can we start appreciating the good in our lives? And we'll start off with a quick exercise here, no? And we'll go back to Menti. Now, the question is, what went well today and what was your role in making it happen? Okay? So think about that for a second. Today, no, it's 3 in the afternoon. There probably is a lot more things happening later, no? But what's one thing that you actually like that happened today, and what was your role in making it happen? No? Share ko lang na at least for this afternoon, right before this webinar, nakita ko na may hotdog na tira from sa ref namin. And I just thought about, alam mo, nag-crave ako ng hotdog. So I prepared myself breakfast in the middle of the afternoon. Nagluto ko ng hotdog, na itlog. Tapos, syempre, sinama ko sa kanin. I just enjoyed my lunch. Genuinely, I got to enjoy my lunch very much because I really just took a moment to think about what it is that I want. And kaya siya nangyari was because I just checked in with myself and really saw na, okay, maybe I can really cook myself something so I can enjoy what I'm going to eat. So that is one example. All right. So yeah, you can already start typing in here. So sorry about that one. No, so for those of you who are still thinking about your response, no, feel free to type it in here. We'll be waiting. So I already gave an example of what might that look like for you. No, what went well today, and what was your role in making it happen? No, someone already reported in that they had a productive meeting and they got enough rest. No, and that's already wonderful to celebrate. Someone said na, oh, I'm submitting my report early. So that's both a very good thing, but also something that they were able to actually do specifically. Um, Someone said that they had a good time talking with their boss. That went well for them, and how they actually helped in that was that they really made them smile and laugh. No, so we can go through these one by one. Ang daming magagandang examples. So we'll actually take a moment to really read all of these, no, so that you can notice how when you read them and when you read others of what went well for them, this can already be the start of noticing for yourself and for others these positive emotions. Someone said they made a lot of progress with the module they're working on. I'm proud of you. Good, kudos to you. Someone said that they were able to finish their case analysis. No, nakakatuwa naman to that someone said that their father brought them food that they were craving today. Nakakainggit. No, so hopefully mamaya then I get to also have my food that I'm craving. Someone said that they were able to finish all their exams. They were able to finish their modules, productive collaborative meeting. No, so while you're writing these answers down, I want you to think about what was your role in making it happen. How did you really create this productive collaborative meeting? Diba? What made you start doing the module? Was it that because you took the time off? No. And this one is really a good example here. No, they say a colleague remembered to submit a task today before the deadline because I asked her if she already had one. No, so nag-follow up siya, and that's why it was so helpful for the colleague to remember submitting the task because nag-follow up siya. No, so that's actually a very interesting way how you can be very much part of the things that happen that are so great for you. No, and ito ang cute to, no. I talked to my boyfriend longer than usual because I was able to finish my tasks faster. O, di ba, nakakatuwa. Nag-uwu pa siya na talagang tuwang-tuwa siya that she was able to really bond with her boyfriend because of yun nga, yung natapos niya yung mga tasks niya mas mabilis. No? So, a lot of wonderful examples here and we can scroll through them one by one. Talagang nakakatawa. And just really think about how is this making you feel? Just thinking about what was something that went well today and listening from others, how it affected them and what really was the effect for you. No? So take a moment to think about that. Now, as we switch back, no, this is actually a perfect example of one way you can feel more empowered and celebrated and even inspired when you're just not having it today. No, um, being able to ask yourself, also ano ba talagang naging okay for today? No, it's already a powerful question that can start picking up on these small things, whether it's a big thing or a small thing that happened that went well. It still went well no matter what. And that's a small way that we can celebrate and really grow on positive emotions. This is one way that we get to practice pride and joy and gratitude for our lives. No, and this is actually a perfect example. No, if you're a leader, a coach, a team manager, this is actually something that you can ask your colleagues when you're starting a meeting. No, mahaba-haba na yung araw nyo, meron pa kayong meeting after this webinar, baka it would be a perfect opportunity for you to ask this question. And that can really just help people feel lighter, no? You feel much, much lighter with the situation, right? So, next question. Next question. Um, how can we begin understanding how we're feeling? No, so we're going to try to create more awareness for our next activity. Okay, so this time again, we'll be drawing naman. No, and this is what I call the gingerbread man. Okay, and so before we begin, we'll take a moment to really pause and check in with ourselves. No, if you're comfortable, you can even close your eyes, but really pause for a moment and think about what's the strongest emotion that you're feeling right now, or strongest sets of emotions that you're feeling right now. What are you really feeling? No, and check in from your head to toe. Saan mo nararamdaman yon the strongest? How does it feel? Is it big? Is it small? Is it concentrated? No, may color ba siya? And this gingerbread man is actually a perfect example of how we can really practice in creating more awareness for our emotions. No, so our support team will be able to send the file for people to also follow in. No, but if you're feeling exploratory right now, you can actually follow me by drawing this on your piece of paper or on your phone, taking a picture of it and then start drawing on it, or even on your laptop. No, so we already have the image here, and you are free to doodle in as much as you want. So while you're following, I'll kind of simulate the experience for you. So siguro, while I was checking in with myself, I was feeling na, like there are so many things that I have memorized in my head and that I'm thinking about now. So I feel great activation in my brain, that I just have so many the ideas that I want to share and I want to be able to really get across with everybody. No, that's one way that I'm feeling right now. I can also feel this fresh, like breath of fresh air from within. No, that's supposedly a heart. Never mind how bad the drawing is. The point of the exercise is to really represent how I'm feeling. No, so again, as we check in with ourselves, no, all we have to do is draw, no, patterns, shapes, colors, represent how it is that your emotions are feeling with your body right now. No, so baka yung nakukulitan yung kamay ko, that there are so many things that are happening with my hands right now. I feel that they're very activated. No, so pwedeng na yan, medyo medyo activated siya, makulit yung feeling sa kamay ko. So represent all of these emotions, how you feel, as much as you'd like, take a few moments to really just check in with yourself. How are these emotions coming up for you? Where does it show up the most? Saan nyo siya nararamdaman? No? Sa ulo ba? Sa dibdib? Sa kamay? Sa tiyan? No? So, kung saan nyo siya man nararamdaman, draw it. No? Represent it as much as you can. Be honest with yourself. Does it feel dark? Does it feel bright? Does it feel painful? No? Really acknowledge what it is that you're feeling in the moment. No, something might be bothering you before this webinar, or just intently listening to the webinar right now gives you a certain feeling in your chest. No? So let's spend a few moments really thinking about what it is that we're feeling in the moment. No. If any other person has questions for what they can do at this moment, like Reynard, again, all we're doing here is just drawing, scribbling, representing in shapes, patterns, colors, whatever it is that feels more genuine for you. Baka may imagery kayo na naiisip of how you want to represent your emotions. This is the perfect time to just take this moment to do that. Right? And as we're wrapping up for this exercise, no, as you're able to draw down what it is that you're feeling, I'd like to hear from you from chat. How is this experience for you like? What came up for you? How did you feel? How does it feel like for you after you've written down or drawn down yung emotions na naramdaman nyo? Very freeing, sabi ni Mark. Nakakatuwa naman na it helped you feel like that there was so much freedom to be able to do this, 'di ba? Parang mailagay nyo lang yung nararamdaman nyo on paper. It really helps you to feel nawala na siya sa akin. Pwede ko pa lang siya ilagay sa paper, 'di ba? Relaxing, sabi ni Shani, it can really help you reflect. Janice said it felt good. Christine said relaxing. Mia said nakakakalma, relaxing. And someone is able to say na they're feeling empty and very painful. No, Lisette, I want to hold the space for you at this moment. No, na I feel with you. It can be very, very painful to feel empty at the moment. And this is actually a great space for you now to be aware na ganun pala yung feeling, di ba? And kung ganito yung nararamdaman natin, what do we want out of the situation? Do we just want to hold the space for feeling this emptiness and pain at the moment? And that's okay. Maybe later, maramdaman mo na, ayoko na pala nung emptiness and nung pain. Maybe I can do something about it. No? So, I want to hold the space for you at this moment, Lizette. I acknowledge that this might have brought out very difficult feelings for you as well. But I think at the same time, this creates so much awareness that it is actually what we're feeling. And maybe we haven't realized that for a while. The others are saying, they feel reflective, calm, relaxing. Cherie says that it's good to pause, to assess yourself and feel centered. Exactly. No, na it really creates so much more awareness, like sabi ni Janice, no, na although we might not have that opportunity all the time, but to be able to just take a pause, really check in with ourselves, saan ba natin nararamdaman yung nararamdaman natin? Gaano kalakas, gaano kasakit, gaano ka-freeing, how bright it shows up for us. It can be very, very interesting for us, no? And 'di ba hindi natin kailangan seryosohin masyado yung drawing. It doesn't need to be a really good drawing. It just has to really represent ourselves honestly for the moment. So this is a wonderful, wonderful exercise for you to do whenever you're not sure how it is you're feeling, no? And this is also an exercise that you can actually help others build as well, no? So again, you can do this as a check-in with your team before you start a meeting, no? Baka do you want to take 5 minutes to just acknowledge and share with everybody? O paano nga ba na ano ba yung nararamdaman mo right now? What are you coming in with the meeting? Right? So um just one more example, and I think this is just something I want to celebrate from Haven. She says, or he or she says, it has been a challenging day for me, to point na para akong robot, no? And this activity brought me to reality. I feel so organic again, and I'm glad, Haven, that was your experience from this activity. If we hadn't had this pause, no, if you hadn't really brought yourself to attend this webinar, this might not have been possible. No, we might miss out on this opportunity to be organic again. So I'm really grateful that was your feeling. So I'm seeing some others that are also reporting that they get to actually acknowledge na meron palang exhaustion and stress na nararamdaman. No, na they get to suddenly realize, oh, this is what I'm feeling, diba? And because there's more self-awareness, we can actually create spaces for us to be self-compassionate and understanding. Ganito ka pala yung nararamdaman ko. And of course, finally, because we know how we feel, we're able to take care of ourselves, no? Or at least hopefully, as you get more mindful with how you feel, you really get to understand what it is that you need from the moment. So whenever you're doing this gingerbread man activity, no, it creates a safe space for you to explore what it is that you're feeling. It can help you really feel connected with yourself, na nababalidate yung feelings na nararamdaman nyo. And then of course, it's a great moment for calm, serenity. No, possible na matutuwa din tayo because nakakatawa naman pala yung ma-represent ko yung sarili ko this way. That's how interesting how my feelings can actually show up. And then finally, because we are able to write down or put into paper, maybe for others yung negative yung emotions, that also means that in the future you can actually have an opportunity to write down emotions that represent you in a good way. Diba? Mas ma-represent natin yung sarili natin na relaxing pala, na I feel good. I feel present in the moment. I'm actually one with myself at this moment. No? So wonderful, wonderful exercise. Okay. So finally, no, and this I think is one of our really main activities for today. It's how can we start building a workplace culture that cultivates positive emotions? So our two examples a while ago are great examples of how we can really build positive emotions within ourselves. But if you start building on those into meetings, as in mangangamusta talaga kayo ng mga colleagues nyo na, kamusta ka talaga? And these questions are great ways to check in with people. That's one way that we can really build this workplace culture that cultivates positive emotions. No? But now, interesting is that there's one more concrete way that we can really do this. And we like to call it the team shout out. No? And so maybe na you're thinking about your team right now, or you're at work, no? Or whatever it is that you're part of, maybe a community, an org, your group, family, or friends. But what I want you to think about is if you were to give a shout out from someone to someone in your team, your group, your community, again, family or friends, no? Who would it be and what would you like to say to them? And para mas organic siya and we can really enjoy, we're not switching out to Menti anymore. Mas madali siya to do it here sa chat, no? Already, Mary has already started it. My friends and family, sabi niya. na she feels na um they deserve a shout out talaga. Mary, I'd love to hear why you're giving a shout out to your friends and family. Was there something that they were able to do for you? You know, what specifically are you appreciating them for? Sabi ni Jacqueline, team, kalma lang. No, and probably Jacqueline is acknowledging na, you know, there are so many things that are happening with my team and you appreciate them and gusto mong kumalma lang. No, I'll also take this opportunity to be able to give a shout out to Shani and Kurt. No, and of course our support this afternoon. Everybody on the line, Mikay, Rafi. I saw Sarah and Marga here. Everybody from the Positive Workplaces team. Everybody has been so supportive of the work that we do and in preparation for this webinar. And I really cannot thank you all enough for all the generosity that you have with your time and your insights, and it's been so overwhelming, the support that you really give me. No, so Shani says here, shout out to her fellow Positive Workplaces interns. No, she says that she thinks that everybody's working so hard and that she appreciates all of them and their passion. And thank you so much, Shani, for giving me a shout out, and of course Kurt for our activities today. um Lisette shares na she wants to give a shout out to her children and her son. I'm so sorry to hear that your son passed away. And so um I really extend my heart to you, Lisette. Now I truly understand how it is that you're feeling and why you shared what you were able to share a while ago and how you were feeling empty and lost and really painful. Right. So the fact that you're still able to give a shout out to your children and for them supporting you while when you lost your son, it must have been very powerful and you felt very supported, right? And so let's read through other examples. I hope the rest of you are doing the same thing. No, shout out to team, sabi ni Marinelle. Again, Marinelle, share with us why you're shouting out yung why you're giving a shout out to your team. Now, Jenny Lou says she's giving a shout out to her dad in heaven. Again, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm so happy that you are celebrating him though. Na you feel like you want to honor your sacrifices for him. And nakakatawa. I'm excited for you, Jenny Lou, na malapit ka na rin graduate sa masters. Good luck to you and congratulations in advance already. No, uh, Mary, okay, I guess now I get it. Mary says that she's thanking her friends and family for the love and care na na-receive niya nung nagkasakit ako. I hope, Mary, your friends and family are watching along with you. And if they haven't been able to share, if you haven't been able to tell them that, I hope na you get to actually share it right after this session. Mark says, shout out po to Ronel. You are the best. Thank you for always being there for me, lalo na sa mga chika and hanash in life. Oh, I'm sure Renel is appreciating that message talaga, Mark. So again, everybody keep reading. I really love Gia's example here. Nagbigay siya ng shoutout sa sarili niya. If you're celebrating yourself this afternoon, kudos to you. Ay, makiki-shoutout din ako sa iyo, Gia. Laban lang. Since we share the same name, sort of, no? Laban lang, no? Fighting, Gia. Shania says to her friends and family, and she just appreciates the fact that they're existing and that you keep her going. So, Shania, sabihin mo yung friends and family mo, I'm pretty sure they will really appreciate this message that you're sharing with them. Almira says that she really misses her office mate and boss, si Riza and si Ma'am Esmeria. Christina says, shout out dun sa fellow MMIS supervisors niya. Kayang-kaya daw. No? So, notice how everybody's feeling with the shout outs that you're giving. No? I hope na you are reading this with all your attention and all your feeling. No? Let it grow within you how it is that you're really feeling. JV says na shout out down to sa elevator that lifts him up kapag when he's down. And probably this elevator is, kahit joke yan, I'm pretty sure that that was a great analogy for how you believe God is holding you and supporting you all this time that you feel challenged. No? Wonderful, wonderful to hear everybody give a shout out to the people that they really treasure. Angela says to my mom, "You are loved and you're cherished. Take it easy. You have us. I love you and keep safe always." I'm really sure your mom is appreciating that message, Angela. So, yun, for everybody that's giving their shout outs, again, read through all of these wonderful messages that people are saying about the people that they really appreciate in life. Kayo, mismo, on the line, if you haven't put in your chat response, even if you don't feel like sharing with us this afternoon, write out that message. Really think about the people that you want to appreciate and take the time to write out a message for them and really send it out to them. Now, I'm pretty sure these people it will really lift their day when they found out that someone out there is really appreciating whatever they do and just by existing. No, so I'm pretty sure the people that you have your thoughts and prayers for are enjoying this as much if they're able to find out from you that's exactly how you feel. So let me ask you now again. Okay, so for those of you who joined us this afternoon to chime in and say who it is that they're really shouting out, who they appreciate, and as you read how people were appreciating other people, I want to hear, how was that experience for you? How did it make you feel to hear people talk about the people that they appreciate and when you were giving your appreciation for others? No, I want to hear from everybody how it was. Ako personally, just hearing everybody share na kung ano ba yung sineselebrate nila, who are they celebrating, who they're acknowledging, nakakataba po ng puso. Hindi ko mapigilan na ngumiti and to really just um to enjoy the moment with everybody na, 'di ba? Ang sarap ng feeling na we can acknowledge people for who they are, what they do, and to know that there is so much kindness and love from people emanating from everybody. 'Di ba? Oo, nakakatuwa yung sinabi ni Karen. I feel better shouting out, expressing gratitude to others. Ganun na ganun mismo. And I think it would be very interesting to check in how you actually felt when you found out others were also celebrating other people. 'Di ba? Kindness is still out there, sabi ni Reynard. Jacqueline says it was very uplifting. Haven, I agree with you. Sobrang extra boost na happy pill nitong exercise. And this is something that you can really bring into your teams if you are working with your companies, no. Practice this. This is such a powerful exercise with everybody. No, people are feeling blessed. Janice says she realizes that I'm not alone in fighting this battle within me, and that she can acknowledge the presence of her husband and her mom in that scenario. Babylin says happy siya with her experience reading all of this message and going through the shout out. People are feeling loved and blessed. And then Pauline says there's so much to be grateful for in spite of the current circumstances we're all in. Diba? I'm as much as we would like to acknowledge na ang hirap ng situation natin. Hindi rin naman po masama na mag-hold tayo ng space to celebrate what we're grateful for. We can be both upset and grateful at the same time. And those are not competing emotions. Those are all experiences of us human beings. And to hold both spaces for it, it can be very powerful. Na-notice nyo na while we were doing our check-ins, we moved from what went well and then checking in, ano ba yung nararamdaman nyo sa sarili nyo? And then also giving a shout out. Diba? There's no rhyme or reason how to really acknowledge our emotions as long as they are what we feel and they are true. When we check in with how we truly feel, we already create so much more self-awareness, and then we can create so much more self-compassion for ourselves. No, Sheila says she feels overwhelmed. Hannah says she's more open and connected to others. Ganun na ganun nga yung sinabi natin with the experience of positive emotions. Nakaka-broaden talaga siya, di ba? No, so Jenny Lou, I love what Jenny Lou shares here. Shout out sa lahat, because all our feelings are valid, and so proud na nakaya at kakayanin pa. I agree with you, Jenny Lou. Ronalette says, it feels so good, uplifting each other and sharing some wisdom. There are so much things to be thankful for despite the pandemic. Everybody echoing what others have already been sharing, and it's been really, really wonderful. And that's actually our session. Pero may pahabol ang positive workplaces, no? And this is just also something that we can acknowledge with our activity. With the team shout out, you can help people feel recognized, empowered, inspired, and celebrated, just how everybody has been talking about. And we can really hold the space to practice pride, awe, love, and inspiration for this activity. So yung pa-bonus po ng positive workplaces is we're actually going to share with you one more strategy or tip that we love to do to really build this positive culture of acknowledging emotions and really building positive emotions in the workplace. Now, we do all of these, the ones that we were already sharing with you a while ago, but this one I think you will really like. You can really show your appreciation for your team or colleagues or any person for that fact na na-appreciate nyo ngayon, especially here in the pandemic. Magpa-online food delivery kayo. Di ba? Magpadala kayo ng food, whether it's Grab, Food Panda, meron pa tayong pa-GCs or promos. If you have access to those, send your friend that exact send the person that you're appreciating that promo code. I-indulge nyo sila sa pagluluho nila sa 11-11, sa 10-10, sa 12-12, no? Support them and really show them that, hey, si Christian now. Isi-send ng GCash, baka gusto nyo na iwan ng number para mag-send si Christian. So yeah, exactly. This is something that we can really creatively it's something that's very appropriate for our situation now, no? Online pandemic, madaling-madali makapag-appreciate ng mga tao if pwede tayong magpadala ng food, ng sarili nating gawa, or yun nga, yung mga GCs natin or promo codes, no? So, yan, nagpapahiwatig na yung mga tao. So, imagine niyo kung kayo gustong-gusto nyo na maka-receive ng ganun, paano pa kaya yung mga taong na-appreciate nyo talaga, di ba? Don't you think that they will also feel the same way that you're feeling? Kung gusto nyo, ilibre nyo yung sarili nyo, pati yung person na na-appreciate nyo, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to enjoy you gathering together and just sharing in the shout out that you were able to give. So that is actually the content for this afternoon. And we'd love to move on now to really answering questions from people. No? Perfect time for us to switch over to Pigeonhole. If you have any questions, we'll go back to them. And I actually want to make sure that I honor JV's question a while ago. That can be our very first question to start off. Let me just remember what the question was. Or JV, if I'm remembering correctly, maybe you can type in your question again so we can tackle that later, no? So if people have questions. Right. Thank you, JV. How do you recognize toxic positivity? Now, what it sounds to me like, JV, is that this question is coming from a place of hindi naman pwedeng laging positive tayo. Diba? And I totally agree with you na there is a point when positivity can be very toxic. And usually, that is in place of, ano ba yan? Wag na nating pakiramdaman yung kung ano yung nararamdaman natin. Let's just think about what it is that's positive. Now, in this situation, or when we're talking about toxic positivity, it usually means that people are trying to reject any source of negative emotion, no? And that's what makes it very toxic. Kapag yung space na pwede tayong magtanungan na, uy, kamusta ka? Tapos nang sasabihin ng friend mo, ah, actually hindi ako okay. Tapos ikaw yung mababad trip kasi hindi naman yung ina-expect kong sagot. 'Di ba? Bakit ka bad trip? Parang panira ka ng mood. When you can't hold space for people to come as they are, I think that can be very toxic, no? So maybe the question can be sometimes, also what's good today? And then they tell you, alam mo, I don't think there's anything good today. And just how I gave an example from Lizette a while ago, 'di ba? Yung yung question niya, ay yung experience niya was while I was doing the Gingerbread Man, ang empty nung feeling. And I didn't make her shift her feeling of emptiness, right? I told her, let's hold a space for it because it must be very difficult. And that's me acknowledging that yes, people can feel good and happy and very well at this moment, but people can also feel very empty at the same time with the same experience that you all went through. So again, toxic positivity comes from a place of I don't want to hold space for anything that can ruin the positivity that I want to build. When that happens, you know that it's actually toxic na. Yung hindi na pwedeng makaramdam ng good, we can't work like that because at the end of the day, what makes us more strong with emotions or that when we can really move forward with life is when we allow ourselves the permission to be human. No, and being human means that we can experience both good and bad. Na pwede tayong maging masaya, pwede tayong maging malungkot, diba? So, I hope, JV, that answers your question. And exactly, JV. Exactly the point. Acknowledging own emotions is healthy. And acknowledging others' emotions is very healthy too. To hold a space for people when they're coming in for emotions that are not as comfortable, that can be very healthy. All right. So if you're feeling that you're rejecting or you're rejecting others people's negative emotions, that can be very toxic. And we want to always hold a space for when people are coming up or showing up not as their best, because sometimes it really happens. So let's yes, exactly, Carol. Sharing how we feel validates our emotions. Exactly. And if we do not share how we feel, doon na nagiging toxic yung positivity natin. All right. There are significant votes for this question here, and we'll tackle that. Any suggestions on what to do if it's your boss or those in the admin that cause the stressful situations that lead to negative emotions? Now, this is very difficult because I have been in the same situation. No, and there are a lot of ways I believe that this situation we can really work in. And my first question all the time really is when someone is making you uncomfortable, sila yung nagdadala ng negative questions. Ano po ba yung kailangan natin sa kanila? Or how can we really support ourselves in the moment? What it is do we really need from that negative emotion? Baka, alam mo, ang stressful ng work. 'Di ba? Ang daming pinagagawa. Maraming pwedeng gawin with that feeling. Iiyak ko na lang, gusto kong magreklamo, or I want a way na matanggal lahat ng stress na yon. Whichever action is strongest for you, that is actually how we best respond to the situation. So if it's just crying or just holding a space na masabi mo lang na, alam mo, ang hirap ng week na to, hindi naman sa ayoko nung trabaho. It's just, pagod na pagod lang talaga ako. So, gusto ko lang may makwento ko na ganun talaga yung feeling. And maybe it'll help you to hear your boss talk about, alam mo, I'm on the same boat. Ang hirap din pala nung pinagdadaanan. Alam niyo, nakikita ko na it's a very concrete pattern na how to be positive, yun yung question ng mga tao, how do you be positive when the boss is the stressor in the workplace, no? It feels like wala sa kapangyarihan natin na to work with our boss. And usually, yun nga again, it's what will help you with the situation. Do you just want to tell them na napipikon ka na? Maybe that's helpful. Or tell your boss, alam mo, I just really need to hear that you're also going through this difficult moment with me. Sure, that's one way to do it. Another is, alam mo, gusto ko makapagreklamo. I want to be able to tell my boss, I'm really feeling frustrated. Hindi na ako natutuwa. I need a break. And I need them to acknowledge that. Maybe you asking that specific to your boss can be a great way for you to help you feel that better about the situation. As in, ikikwento mo na sa boss mo na, let me be honest with you, I'm not feeling the best right now. And I need a space where I can tell you what I'm upset about and what's really not working for me and how this is so stressful. And I need you to find ways where we can work together so that we can move forward with our situation. The problem sometimes in these situations is that you've never been able to tell your boss how it is that you actually feel. The admin, the boss, ganyan, no? Na kung hindi nagagawa yung kung hindi nila na-hold ng space yung so ano ba yung pakiramdam nyo? Paano ba kayo kikilos in the situation? Talagang it'll be very difficult. It'll be very difficult. So you just need to be able to relay na you need to be able to relay that, hey, I really need help support in this. Finally, is that if you know that the situation doesn't really do anything anymore for you, maybe the step is to back away. No? Baka kailangan nyo na ng break, kailangan nyo na mag-leave, kailangan nyo ng umalis. I cannot be the solution provider for you, but it is your honesty to yourself that you can really honor what it is that you need out of the situation to really get the best out of this. No, whatever negative emotion it is, you will always have to ask yourself, what do I need to support myself with this negative emotion? And then you ask it from people if na alam nyo na kung ano yung kailangan nyo. Okay. We all Blackpink Jenny, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Your question is, when can we say that our positivity is getting too much to the point that it is getting unhealthy? Again, this is the same question that JV was asking a while ago. Whenever negative emotions come up, acknowledge them. But if you're actually having a lot of positive emotions, that's not necessarily a bad thing, huh? So whenever it gets unhealthy is you never have time to acknowledge kapag masama na yung pakiramdam nyo. Pero kung ang dami ng positive emotions na nararamdaman nyo na, or that you're so optimistic, you're so hopeful, but at the same time you're able to say, alam mo mahirap naman pero kakayanin. Or alam mo ang challenging pero we'll be able to get through it. Or my life is so difficult but I can always say that there's also a good to this. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? And so it's always too much when it's just positivity and we never say what the negative things are or that we feel challenged. Kung hindi mo na ina-acknowledge yung true feelings mo, doon na siya nagiging unhealthy. Ganun siya, right? Siguro a micro point in an extension of the question a while ago, going back to yung stressor na yung boss sa workplace. Ito very specific yung sinasabi nila. Micromanaging, kinukuha yung credit, dinidiminish yung ideas, or parang minamalit ka, ask for ideas but does not think about it. So yung gusto nila yung sila yung masusunod. I've been there, no? There are also situations where some are really just like, wala, gusto nila sila yung boss. And in this situation, again, the question is, so ano yung kailangan mo? Do you need your boss to stop micromanaging you? Do you need your boss to stop grabbing your credits? Have you told them that that's how you feel when they are working with you? No? And siguro, so we can actually move with something very practical. there is a structure where we can really talk about how it is that we are addressing these situations. First off, we want to recognize ano ba yung ginagawa nung person sa atin that makes us feel a certain way. So probably it's your boss micromanaging, no? And then specifically, what about their micromanaging? Every time you ask me to do something and you do it so detailed that I don't have the freedom to explore other opportunities or ways to work with the task that I have to do, I actually feel very constricted. Nasasakal ako and I do not feel activated while working because it feels like I'm just following instructions all the time and I'm really not doing work that I'm supposed to do, no? So kung ganun yung feeling nyo, you can actually communicate that directly. Kapag ginagawa mo to, ito yung nararamdaman ko. So gusto ko sana ang maramdaman ko with my work is I am free and I am able to be creative with my work. And what will help me is that if you give me the task, check in with me instead a week after letting me try first kung ano yung activity, kung ano yung way ko para masolusyonan tong problem natin. I will really appreciate that, no? So communicate what it is that they do specifically that makes you feel a specific way, and then tell them, no, na I would rather feel this way, and for me to feel this way, hopefully you can do this, no? And then maybe you'll do a negotiation. Pwede bang ganito, pwede bang ganyan, no? No balancing. Carol says, sometimes we need to set boundaries. Exactly, no? Kung alam nyo na yung kailangan nyo, which is boundaries, ask for it. Right? Sometimes our problem can be that pinaapak-apakan lang natin yung sarili natin and we never speak about the truth that we truly feel. And this can be the very upsetting point. Kailangan nyo hanapan ng lakas na, alam mo yun, boss ko to paano ko sasabihin sa kanya? Yung boss mo tao din. So, kailangan niya ding maraman na kung ikaw nagkakamali ka and you can let other people know that that was an honest mistake. Hold your boss the same way that you would hold yourself. He's actually a person that can also be wrong. And that when they're wrong, they might also want to acknowledge that, oh, nakakasagasa na pala ako. Right? We never know. And so we really need to communicate. Ngayon, kung nagawa nyo na lahat yung communication and wala pa din, unfortunately, that's the moment that you really have to ask yourself, do you still want to work with the same boss? You know? Nasubukan nyo na lahat and really there's nothing that's coming up. Unfortunately, that might be the problem. Okay? So Abby's so there are two questions here that are medyo relatable, and I think this will be a last question that we can have space for. And this is also a great way when I address this. It will also answer Z's question of feeling overwhelmed about everything. I want to be alone sometimes, but other view it as me being aloof or do not want them anymore in my life. What am I going to do? Okay, so first off, let's acknowledge the fact that I'm glad that you are recognizing that people are experiencing the truth about anxiety and depression. It's already a good step na sinasabi natin na, okay, may anxiety or may depression yung tao na I'm working with or that I'm interacting with. The first step is to not make their problem small, right? And I love that you're coming from a place of, paano ko sila i-motivate? Diba? How can I help someone who isn't happy anymore? How can I help someone who is anxious or depressed? And how can I really lift them up? Now, what I always bring into this suggestion, what I always make sure first in this situation is, gusto ba nila na ma-motivate? Okay? Because I know how we are all problem solvers and we want to be helping hands and we want to make people feel better. We want them to come from a place of positivity and yay, okay lahat. And if you've never acknowledged them saying, I actually don't feel like I want to be motivated at the moment, that is when potentially you're stepping in the zone of toxic positivity. Gusto ba nilang maging motivated at the moment? Baka ang kailangan pala nila is, kailangan ko ng friend na kikwentuhan ako na nararanasan niya din yung nararanasan ko. Might not be the same thing, but when I say I'm worried about work, it will just be helpful for me to know that someone also is worried about work. Right? Kung may karamay sila, that might actually help them feel motivated already. Alam mo, ang lungkot ko ay hindi ako makabangon. Acknowledge that that happens and tell them, alam mo, naranasan ko din yan. And it must be very difficult for you to feel that way right now. Gusto mo bang ma-motivate? Baka hindi. Maybe do you want me to just acknowledge that mahirap talaga yung situation and I'm just here with you, listening with you. Maybe that's just it eh. Maybe we just need to listen to the people with anxiety and depression and tell them na that's exactly how you can be very helpful for them. Rather than motivating, help them feel that it's okay, right? And whenever you prioritize helping a person feel okay, that might be already the step forward they need to find back motivation. Kasi I'm not alone in this boat anymore, right? And it's the same experience with something not as serious, but also can be very debilitating for workplace productivity, right? When someone isn't motivated or not anymore happy at work, do they want to be motivated? Diba? Kung hindi sila talaga motivated, hold the space for them where it's easier to be working. Baka it's not the energy that they need up with work. Maybe it's the load that they need to handle that needs to be lowered. So mapantayan yung pinanggagalingan nila. Diba? Baka kailangan natin saluhin yung work. Or it's just acknowledging na hindi ako masaya sa work kasi nga hindi na talaga, nothing's coming up for me. So I just need people to acknowledge that that can be my experience. Diba? Rather than alienate them and tell them, alam mo, hindi ko gets bakit hindi ka na masaya kasi I'm feeling motivated, right? But when they ask you, okay, so now when people tell you, I really want to feel more motivated in the situation, then you can start doing anything that you feel like doing with them that helps you build your motivation. Whatever works for you, invite them to go with the motivation source for you, right? So if it's motivating for you to think about what do I want to achieve by the end of the year, invite them. Do you want to feel motivated? Yes, great. Do you want to spend a few moments imagining end of year success natin? Because that's what helps me get motivated. Do you want to try that? Then it's so much easier for them to feel motivated because they do want to feel motivated in the first place, right? So acknowledge that people might not be coming from that space. And when they do want it, that's the only time that you can invite them to let's be motivated together. And again, if you want people to move forward, it's acknowledging the emotions, whether it's they're coming from a good, they're coming from bad, acknowledge. And it's never, what I always think is that you will never build harm or you will never give harm to someone by asking them, hey, what's something that you want to celebrate today? Or was there anything good that came out of today? Baka bumangon ka lang. I want to celebrate that with you because that must be very big. That must be a very big thing knowing that you're not coming from a good place. All right. And right. So last question lang siguro before we wrap up. We have a few moments na lang is yun nga. Z says that he or she feels very overwhelmed about everything and I want to be alone, but other view it as me being aloof or do not want me anymore in their life. So Z, first off, I want to hold a space to acknowledge na mahirap siguro yung feeling na overwhelmed ka na nga. Yung mga tao pa na nasa paligid mo, ayaw ka pang suportahan. Mas nakaka-overwhelm yun siguro and that just really sucks, right? And what I invite you to do in this situation is to ask what is it that you need from these people that are making you feel aloof or don't want you anymore in your life? Do you need to express it to them that they make you feel that way? Or do they make you so uncomfortable that you actually want to just tell them na, uy, ang pangit na ng feeling ko, I hate you, or something like that, right? Whatever it is that will really support you, I I would push for you to just ask for, like, get it. No, so if it's just getting a person who actually cares, finding a person who actually cares, and then talking to them rather than forcing it with other people that aren't as aloof, and or are, yeah, or aren't as aloof, baka mas better yon for your situation, no? Again, there's so many nuances to what your situation might be, and as much as I would like to give you a specific thing to do, I would acknowledge first is, what do you need really support with, and how can you really get the most out of that need? No, really tap into checking in with yourself, and how can that be very helpful. So I hope that with all of the questions that were brilliantly asked here, we have so many ideas how to work with. No, it might be a lot to absorb. It was very candid for me to answer all of these questions. So pahapon na kaya nagpalit yung ilaw, and I think it's the perfect opportunity for us to start wrapping up. So let me switch over now to our slides. Thank you so much again for our wonderful session. I love that everybody was asking brilliant questions. They were engaging with our activities, and they were really building up all their positive emotions. We will have our certification and evaluation just a little bit more. June, alam ko nakakabitin, but again, with our evaluation, we'll have more activities for you to keep building on that. So make sure that you are able to answer that. Now, so thank you again for everybody joining us this afternoon. I acknowledge everyone for their gratitude towards me. Nakakatuwa po lahat yan. And so if you really enjoyed our webinars this afternoon, of all the things that we were able to talk about, we upload all of our webinars here. We share all of our postings for upcoming webinars on facebook.com/positive workplaces ph. No, you can catch all of our webinars, our different articles about well-being, positive organization, all of that jazz. We are also on YouTube. For some of you there following us on YouTube, no, you can watch this webinar and previous webinars that we've had. Now, it's a wonderful place to relearn everything that we were able to talk about this afternoon. If you just want a refresher of what has been happening, of what took place this afternoon, feel free to watch. Subscribe, guys. We'll always have our videos up there. Okay. So for next month's webinar, we have championing leadership and kindness in the workplace. We are partnered with Habi Education Lab and Child Found Possibility Psychosocial Services for our webinar series next month. No? So make sure to catch us there. We already have our registration up on chat. So please take your time, and if you're interested with leading with kindness, register through our link. Okay. We are also still open for our Organizational Wellbeing 101, Train the Champions course. It is our final week for registration. So if you are feeling like you want to build more organizational well-being for your workplace, feel free to register, hit us up. No, there are so many wonderful things that you can build here. Nikki, my wonderful colleague, is leading this course, and I'm pretty sure if this content was so meaningful for you, you can actually get so much more of that in the Organizational Wellbeing 101 course. No? If you felt very strongly about the content that we have today, organizational well-being, just personal well-being, creating more positive emotions for the workplace. If you want a more exclusive webinar workshop to really help out your organization, feel free to reach us out at learn@positiveworkplaces.org with our contact details here below. Facebook Messenger also works with us, our website. they're all available. So for those of you asking, no, here's our post evaluation form link. We will be open for the next 30 minutes, and it will be open for the next 30 minutes. And you get to, when you answer this, you get to claim your e-certificate and your worksheet. All right. Again, thank you so much for for attending our webinar this afternoon, for all your engagement and really listening in. I hope this was so helpful for all of you. No, the certification will be sent right to the email that you used to fill out with the certificate, no, the evaluation form. So doon yun na po makukuha yon. Thank you again. Have a wonderful afternoon. No, and we'll be keeping our Zoom room a little bit open for everybody to still access the link and just chill around for a little bit. Have a wonderful afternoon to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day and keep doing your best for the people that you love and the work that you do. Bye-bye, everybody.